All right, everybody, what's going on? Happy Monday to you and yours. The Bay Ragni Show is live, and it's always an honor to be here with Caesar, the young prince himself, the one and only Mr. Phil Lewis of LA Going. Phil, how you doing today, man?
Okay, you got the pronunciation wrong. It's actually Cesar, the young prince.
Caesar, Caesar.
Cesar,
See,
Cesar,
I was going from the Planet of the Apes, Caesar.
Caesar. Yeah, no, that's okay. And that's the name I use. That's the name that Pete Way gave me.
Oh,
Uh,
really?
Pete Way gave me that and I think it must have been 1979 when my first band, Girl, toured with UFO. And it was such a riot. It was such a party. He was so funny. It was the whole band. They were so good to us. They were so welcoming. And Pete he's got a nickname for everyone. He's just this like, and he sized me up and down, and he goes, "You shall be Cesar the Young Prince." And I was like, "Okay, fair enough. Cesar the Young Prince it is." So yeah, I sign in with that a lot.
That's funny. That's funny. You know what too? Like I honestly I was expecting you to come on here, and you got part of it, not always the whole thing. But I was to say I was expecting to have shaved the Lemmy stash.
Well, it's the plague stash, and what it is. When all this bullshit started, the pandemic, obviously we stopped working. Everyone stopped working.
Right.
So as a barometer, I said, okay, I'm not going to shave, and I'll see how long it will go before I was going to shave at my next gig. That's right.
Okay.
That's it. I wasn't going to shave until my next gig. So a year went by and there was no gig, and it's getting bigger and bigger, and it had that Stonewall Jackson vibe to it. It looked like one of those Civil War pictures, from the Ken Burns documentary. But I'd never had hair like that. I'd never facial hair, and it was really surprising to see it so prolific. And yeah, I got Lemmy a lot. I'll never be that handsome, but I certainly take that as a compliment. I liked it. I like the gunslinger vibe, the carpetbagging vibe, the Western. I like that, the Doc Holliday vibe to it. So this is back now because once again I'll shave it as soon as I've got another gig, but this one won't be quite as bushy as the last one because we have a gig on the 12th of November, so it'll be gone by then. But it's funny how actually having that stuff on my face actually worked to our favor, or my favor anyway, in the Cannonball video.
Absolutely.
And the timing was great. And normally, if it had been any other video other than a swashbuckling, high seas buccaneering pirate, I would have shaved prior to doing the video. But it worked so well for that. I did it, and then I shaved right after I finished it because I had another song to do, and I wanted a contrast. So yeah, that's the long and boring story of my fucking mustache.
Yeah, it's funny because two of my very good friends from when I was little kids, and we both grew up loving the same music and going to see guys like you in concert back in the day. And we have like an email thread that goes back and forth when new music comes out, etc. And when the Cannonball video come out, I get the email from my buddies, and they're like, "Oh my god, freaking amazing song! But why is Phil wearing that fake mustache?"
Oh, right. Fake hair, fake mustache. I can't win, can I? I mean, it's what everyone think I'm fake. I don't get it. It's just like, what? It's not possible to grow a mustache. It's just like, leave me alone. And that's the big point in that fucking video when I rip the fucking wig off. Enough already. Because that's another thing over the 2 years. All this hair business. I let my hair grow back. Fuck it. And yes, I've worn extensions and hair pieces, and I'll probably do it again. because I like the way it looks. And if it's necessary, if it's got a vibe, I'll do it. But that's not because I'm a bald cunt. Obviously, you can see, and I'm quite capable of growing a mustache as well. So there we have it. The end of rant.
But you know what? Too, like, say it was 30 years ago, and say you're just putting out like Hollywood vampires. You're in that zone. You're in that vibe. Like, you would technically, you probably wouldn't even be allowed to. I'm sure you would hear flack from the record company if you tried to grow a mustache or something. Correct?
Oh yeah, there's no way. Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. Boy, they took the fun out of it. When you look at the pictures, the photos from when LA Guns, when we first got signed, the original lineup got signed, and all the photos that we did promo for the first record, we're happy. There's a genuine vibe, and it looks like it's five guys that have landed right on their feet, and like this is the world's about to open up for them, and it's an excitement and a shine in our eyes. And then you get to like the second or third record, we're not even looking at each other at photo shoots.
Wow.
We got back to each other. Someone's looking down, someone's looking across. I wouldn't say we hated each other, but that might be too strong a word. But the honeymoon was over,
Wow.
and it wasn't our fault because it was the label, it was the pressure. It was the management. It was the fucking publicist. It was everybody. Do this, do that, do this, do that. Oh, no, that's no good. Yeah. Oh, he's going to do something by himself. You should do something by yourself, too. It'll be better. And all of that fucking horrible Chinese whispers going on. And these cunts at the label, that's all they had to do. Like, it was such a boring job. They loved
Stirring the pot. Oh, I lost you. Wait, where'd you go? Wait. There we go.
Okay, I'm here. So yeah, a call came in, and I don't know what the StreamYard is, but it bounced me off. All right, so yeah, all the fun's gone out of it. We're not looking at each other. Musically, it was completely uncohesive. When we did Cox and Loaded, we were all in the same room, all on the same page, blank slate. Same thing for Hollywood Vampires. But at that point, it was around that time that things went pear-shaped, and we started. There was a resentment, and it wasn't personally because we'd been, well, actually that's another thing too. If you've been in a capsule, in a submarine, in a tour bus with these same fellas for getting on 3.5, 4 years, that wears a bit as well.
Sure.
And of course it was always the pressure, oh yeah, you're our cute new band that gets gold records, but we're really used to like Cinderella and Bon Jovi, who gets 9 times platinum. So you guys just keep doing what you're doing. You'll be all right. You'll get there. You're our new sausage, and it was fucking horrible. So yeah, none of that now. That's all behind us, and it's back to being fun again.
That's awesome. It's kind of crazy too because I mean I've been saying this to myself for at least the last year or so. I guess whenever Scott had gotten to the band. Drummer Scotty Coogan, I was saying to myself, this is like, I will anytime, any day put this lineup up against the original lineup. Like I felt that strongly for that lineup. And then I saw, I guess it was a few weeks ago, you said Scott's out.
Yeah, unfortunately. Well, I mean, in terms of lineup, this LA Guns 2.0, the Mark II, the post reunion, musically, it just blows the prototype Mark I out the water in terms of the music that we're doing. We're doing stuff. I'm gonna let you down, which is another universe to I'm a sex gun lover in the heat of the night. Don't run for cover because I got you in my sight. No, it's a completely different thing musically. A quick briefly why Scotty left because he didn't play on the record. Adam Hamilton played on the record because Adam was producing and compiling the tracks at his studio. He's set up with drums because he's a brilliant drummer. So we got Adam Hamilton, he's been the bass player, he's been the rhythm guitarist, and now he's the drummer. The songs were written very quickly. The songs were written in about 3 or 4 weeks. Tracy wrote them in Denmark. He used a drum machine, and he'd send the basic tracks, raw tracks, over to me and Adam, and I'd do my vocals. And either way, they were going to end up over at Adam, and it was a drum machine, and it was a no-brainer to like, gee, go on then, just put some drums down on it, see what it sounds like. And he did such a good job that we ended up doing the whole album with him. And it's difficult for Scott to be in that position. It was only because he didn't have those facilities that he didn't do it, because I've no doubt he could have played it, and he could have played the hell out of it because he's such a great drummer. Just one of those unfortunate casualties of the pandemic, I'm afraid. So yeah, and he's got other stuff. He works with Stephen Pearcy. He works with Ace Frehley. So it's just one of those things. It's no hard feelings. I hope he comes back. You know, I do down the line. You know, he's always welcome. I enjoy working with him. He's a great hang. I'm sorry that he didn't play on it, but we got Shane Fitzgibbons coming back to do these shows that we're doing in November. A few local shows, just half a dozen local shows, and then the Whiskey on New Year's Eve. So we'll be all right, and then hopefully by next year we'll sort something out.
Does it even?
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, does it even phase or bother you anymore? Like when a situation like that happens, like a band member leaves because you've been through it so much.
You know, I wasn't thrilled to hear it. I was, you know, upset. You know, because I've grown so fond of him. But you know, you got to understand it. It makes perfect sense, and one of the most amicable splits in my career. I literally look forward, can't wait to when we work with each other again, because we will.
That's awesome.
It was just, you know, unfortunate.
That's awesome. So now the new, well, you know, let me say something else too. I want to say this before I forget it. Something I'd like to know, and I want to know if other people want to know this too. You've been doing this. You've been in the music game for 40 plus years now. You know, like you mentioned with Girl from the late 70s, early 80s on to LA Guns, and I'm sure you had many things before Girl as well. But your voice, and this is no bullshit, and not trying to kiss your ass or anything, but your voice today, I mean, I've seen you live over the last few years. Your voice today is still on par with 30 plus 40 years ago. It's like you haven't lost a step vocally live, where we see many other, of your peers and friends that have. What do you think the difference is that you've been able to maintain your voice live compared to some of the others?
There's a discipline involved, you know, and the disciplined singers still have it. Sebastian Bach, he sounds every bit as good as he did on Slave to the Grind. Tom Kiefer, just Robert Mason. These are guys that I look up to. Kip Winger, that have taken care of their instrument, of the voice, and it's not difficult. It's just a discipline, you know. You got to warm up before you use it, and I warm up before a gig. I warm up before I start recording, and what it does, it opens up all the stuff, all the technical stuff, but it also attunes you to your pitch, because you're singing along with these scales, these strange scales, and so it just kind of sets you up. It puts you in the right mindset for when you actually do start singing. That note choice is direct. You're not
Right.
coming at it from underneath or on top. You're coming on it exactly right where you should be, and you're coming on it strong
Right.
because of the exercises. I'm a better singer, way better singer now than Sex Guy Lover in the Heat of the Night. But because because of that, I studied it a lot more than I did back then. I was just having a laugh back then. I was having a few drinks, a couple
Sure.
of girls. Yeah, I can sing. Yeah, I'll be the singer. Yeah, I got a car. And that was pretty much the only qualification you needed in London when we were putting bands together. If the singer could drive the band around. So yeah, thank you. Yeah, I love it, and especially at the end of a project when you listen back to it and go, yeah, that's pretty good. On this album, it's a lot more subdued. Well, not subdued, but I'm using much more of a lower register, a
Okay.
lower octave than I might have, than I definitely would have actually back in the golden days, because back then it was about power. You didn't, as long as you could sing in pitch, and you could compete with a Marshall stack. And I got lungs. I got lungs for days. I'm a runner, so I've always had like a big lung capacity and a loud annoying voice. So those things have really served me well.
Nice.
And like on the rowing machine, getting the stamina going, because I wouldn't say I'm in training, but not doing anything for 2 years. I don't want to get shocked. I don't want to get like a couple of guys who come out and they're like halfway through their set and they're like, oh fuck, I'm completely out of shape. I haven't done this in so long. I don't know, well, you saw you know who I'm talking about.
Sure.
And it was pitiful to see, the lead vocalist of the stadium headliner not
Right.
able to make it through fucking 4 songs. Come
Yeah.
on, as a front man, as a singer, you got fucking responsibility to step it up, especially if you're that fucking big. So no fucking sympathy for me whatsoever. It takes work. It takes discipline.
Absolutely. So speaking of the discipline, you guys got a new album getting ready to come out. It's called Checkered Past. Is that a little nod towards yourselves?
Yeah, they all are. It's great. That's the third one. That's our third pun. The missing piece.
Mm-hmm.
Tracy and I had been estranged for 15 years, which is crazy, a stupid length of time.
Yeah.
But we had a beef, and it was a big one, and we thought, well, there's no point in even trying to bury the hatchet, because he went and did his thing, and I went and did mine, and there was no real reason for us to, until we got back together. And just were in a room, and just like the ice melted, and we were both like, why have we been at this estrangement for such a long time? And as soon as there was the warmth and the friendship, and it reminded me of when I first joined. I mean, because I owe Tracy a lot. He changed my life.
Sure.
When he brought me over, he decided he wanted me to be the singer, and I was summoned from London, and I came over and basically got the dream gig of a lifetime. Then, yeah, I mean, I love the guy for that, and we just had that vibe, that honeymoon vibe when we first got together, and we hadn't seen each other in a long time, so we had a lot of catching up to do. We'd both grown up a lot. And it was nice being around him again. And once we started playing music, and then he played me what he had in mind, it was like, wow, yeah, we've got to do this. And then his band, he introduced me. He said, come do some stuff with my band, like Shane and Johnny, and it was like, these guys are fantastic. So yeah, that was a no-brainer. It was long overdue, and that's the thing, you know, when you get this chemistry. Not everyone. I played with hundreds of guitar players.
Sure.
And nobody makes me work as hard as Tracy, because I know nobody's on their end working as hard as he is, and giving me the very, very best that he's got. He's never given me anything shoddy. It's like, here's a rough idea, I'm working on it, but you know, like it's so precise, and you know, there are people like Keith Richard and Mick Jagger. They've got it. Pete Townsend, Roger Daltrey. They've got it. You know, Mick and Keith, and you know, it's Phil and Tracy. We are the nucleus. And although this band has had well over 50 members, which is, you know, always a subject of mirth, and it is funny, but you know, there's a reason for that. As long as it's me and him, the nucleus, then that is LA Guns.
There you go. So how about like we're saying, so Checkered Past.
So that was I get distracted. So the missing piece. It was a no-brainer when we got back together after all that time. It was the right title, and missing piece as in peace and love, not a little piece of something. But that was a good double entente, you know. That was a great pun. And then the second one, the devil, you know, we are the devil, you know, both of us. And you know, we joke, we call each other Cain and Abel, because you know, we've had some sort of absolutely appalling fights, and then we get on better than brother. We're both only children, we're both Capricorn, so that might have something to do with it. I don't know. Sure. But and we are both lifers. So we got a lot more in common than our differences. And I love the guy, you know, I do. I mean, I love him like a brother. You don't always like him, your brothers, but you always love them.
Right.
And I mean, you know, we've learned a lot. We respect each other's boundaries. We understand that, you know, that we shouldn't really be too close for too long, because you're going to get a little bit of that friction, you know, that nuclear fusion,
right,
if you will. So I think we got it down. It's everyone's getting on. We're making great music. What's not to love?
There you go. Well, the music you have to love, because it's amazing, and everything you guys have been doing since you guys are back together have just been, you know, it's got that classic LA Guns sound. It's got a modern feel to it. And actually, the new album, I've been listening to it nonstop for the last 24 hours, and it's got a lot, in my opinion, a lot of like Hollywood Vampires sound I can hear in it.
Well, it's in many ways it's similar to Hollywood Vampires. We really spread our wings musically. You know, up until that, it'd been sex lover, baby. And then we started to sort of explore like the Magdalene and the Malaria and the Over the Edge, and we left the Cat Club. You know, we moved on from the Cat Club and started to think about theaters,
right,
and arenas and stadiums. And, we wanted it to be sonically bigger than the club band that we were and we're proud of, and we still are. Don't get me wrong, but we still have that spirit. But so on this record, it's just Tracy. You know, I leave the music entirely to him, because I want him to be happy and challenged and comfortable. I don't want him playing my songs, you know, they're probably too easy for him and on a different frequency. Of course he can do it, but I'm not sure, you know, it's like him, you know, he doesn't write lyrics, and I'm glad he does. I don't want him to write lyrics, and he doesn't want me to write music.
Right.
So you know, those are the things that we sort of understand and we've grown to learn and love about each other.
So was anything done differently though this time around with the whole pandemic situation, or was it just
Everything was different. It was
really?
complete. Everything was different. It was the most strangest album I've ever recorded in my life. Traditionally, when you're going to record a record, you'll get together in a room and you'll hash out ideas. I got this chorus, I got this verse, blah blah blah, and it's a stew. You're all involved. You're making something, and when the song's written, you're happy. It's great, and so you rehearse it, you play it until you know it. You can play it in your sleep. So when that red light goes on in the studio, you're absolutely ready. This is different. This was all written. I've never sung any of these songs live. I've never sung
Right.
Cannonball live. I've sung it in my living room or in my vocal booth countless times, hundreds of times, but I've never actually done it with the band. And that's really,
Wow.
really unusual. Talk
Yeah.
about putting the cart before the horse. Because
Yeah.
and every other record, I would have sung the song 100 times before they put me in front of a microphone. So that was really, really different. And of course, doing it remotely, doing it in my house by myself, just engineering it. It's been a long time since I've done that. I mean, I was like, maybe like 20 last time I had a ported studio and I was
Wow.
recording at home. So a bit of catching up to do. And a little side note here. Those vocals on this record sound great. They sound really good. If anyone's interested in home recording, don't spend lots of money on equipment. I'm playing. It's recorded on a 8-year-old Dell with a entry-level 2-channel Focusrite Scala interface and an okay sort of a mid-level Chinese knockoff microphone, a condenser mic.
Okay.
That's it. No compression, no warm 1950s preamp, no. I didn't even effects, not even reverb, nothing. I just went straight from mic to computer, and as long as there was a good signal, a good solid signal, and there was plenty of meat on it and the waveform, then everything was all added afterwards. All the effects, all the delays, all of that was put on after. And so, yeah, like home recorders, don't freak out. Don't think you've got to run out and buy this tube amp or this great compressor. You can if you want, and if you can make that work for you, great. But I simply didn't need it. And the proof of the pudding is in the music, in the record. So just a shout out to home recorders, because
There you go.
It's frustrating because they're always trying to sell you something, and you don't really need it.
It's true. It's so true. Now, when does the album actually come out?
12th, I believe, November 12th.
November 12th. Okay, great. And any more singles going to be coming out? The last single you guys just put out last week, video, Get Along. Beautiful freaking song. I love it.
We would, it's a contrast from Cannonball.
Yeah.
Cannonball's so camp and pantomime, and I had such fun, dressing up with the mustache and the captain and the wigs and all of that. It was great. It was great fun. Get Along, I just wanted to put on the brakes, pull the reins, and I would have done it naked if I could, just to do it, blank, not to be. I don't, I'm just a cog in this one. I wanted to be the highlight of Cannonball, but this. As far as the video goes for Get Along, it's a beautiful story about a dad and his daughter trying to make it in Hollywood, and he's on the booze and she's all upset, and by the end of the song he's pouring it down the toilet and everyone's like, it's great. So I didn't want to get in the way of that. It's a beautiful song. It's a gorgeous melody, and it's got a cute video that could go along with the lyrics of the song. It could be an interpretation, not my own personal, but that's what the label came up with, and I think it's bloody good. I think they came up with a great director, Enzo the guy that I can't think of his surname, but he came over from Italy.
Okay.
On Frontier's dime, and we did this, and once again we did it remotely. I did mine in Vegas. Ace came out to Vegas. We did ours here.
Okay.
And Johnny and Trace did theirs in LA, and it was beautifully all pieced together, and you'd never know. So
Wow.
we've learned a lot from being isolated, how to get around that. It's making the best of it. But yes, great, two great. So, is there going to be anything else? I don't know. I don't even know what singles are. What does it mean anymore? But those are like highlight tracks. The first one was "Let You Down," and then it was then it was "Knock Me Down," which we didn't pick that. That's a label thing. It's a good song. I think we had better. I think we should have just gone straight to Cannonball.
Yeah.
But that's not really my affair. I'm just sing song, like do my job and leave it for theirs.
There you go. Now, how about you mentioned there's a tour date, some shows coming up in November. Is there any tour plans, or are you still waiting to see what this whole COVID stuff happens?
Yeah. I'm going to have to wrap this up now.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've got 4 local shows. No, half a dozen local shows. We've
Okay.
got 2 in Vegas at Vamped, and then we got the Whiskey. And then next year, we got the Monsters of Rock cruise.
Okay.
In February, which is going to be great. We're looking forward to that. And then in the summer, if everything's fine, everyone, like if it goes the direction we're hoping with this pandemic business, we got dates lined up with Tom Kiefer.
Awesome.
It's going to be a summer tour with Kiefer, LA Guns, and Faster Pussycat.
Oh, sweet.
Coming to a shed near you.
Awesome.
The summer. That's really, really looking forward to that. So that's what's going on.
Awesome. All right. I know you got to go.
Talking to you, man.
Cesar,
Yeah, I
thank
do.
you so much.
Thanks,
Take care.
Thanks for the support.
Absolutely.
Take care, man. Bye.
Yeah, man. See ya. All right, there he goes. Phil Lewis, LA Guns. Check them out on Checkered Past. The album's out November 12th. I got a few singles out there now. You can see them on YouTube. Check them out on Spotify, etc. At all your finer places. And until next time, we'll be back Wednesday with Chips Enough. So tune in and watch me and Chip talk about, I'm sure, a lot of news.